Hey Bill, that's not I was talking. Now, obviously by the title, this is a commentary on my video about reparations about in Asheville. Now, there were some things that I didn't really touch upon in that video, and after speaking to some of the commenters, I realized that they were actually bigger than I thought. Now, one of the main things I want to talk about is the fact that it's not centered on cash reparations. Now, I know what you guys have said, and I realize that what you're saying is absolutely true. Nothing less than cash reparations for Tijuana Black Americans is acceptable. Anything less is a cop out and an attempt to control the conversation. But as well as money, it should also be land as well as other things. But the main thing is cash, because one of the main things is why it's being handed out in programs or economic our initiatives, is a way to control the Black Americans who receive it, because theoretically, the Black Americans are already entitled to a whole bunch of things, but through a variety of laws and loopholes are kept out of it. Things like the FHA home loans with redlining, which basically said black neighborhoods were bad areas to invest in, therefore no loans went there, and this continues to this very day. And even if you take some of the civil rights legislation, if you've looked at what the Supreme Court has done, I remember in the New Jim Crow, they've basically carved it up to basically say racial discrimination in the justice system cannot be proven unless basically the people perpetuating the racist discrimination admit to it. So basically means that the law is impossible to enforce. That's probably what's going to happen. Or if black people do receive the full benefits that it says on paper, what will happen it will be something like people like Ben Carson or Candace Owens, the coons who are pushed real hard for white supremacy will get it. So what we need to stay our message with the reparations is that nothing less than cash reparations is acceptable. None of these cop-outs or programs or initiatives. I mean, the one that was done by Marianne Williamson, 100 million for 440 million people over 10 years, given by black organizations. Now, many of these black organizations are compromised. I mean, we don't need to go into them, but we all know it, and that's how they'll choose them, the people who basically want to take reparations that are owed to Tijuana Black Americans and basically say, well, Mexicans were discriminated against, Puerto Ricans were discriminated against, Chinese were discriminated against, and that's not acceptable. Anyway, and also there's another thing I wanted to mention. I saw a lot of white people commenting, and it shows you just how the fact what they didn't say shows just how all this anti-reparations talk is not about money. It's not about whether people deserve it. Because I said Israel gets reparations, but America had nothing to do with the Holocaust. Yet nobody brings it up. In fact, Israel has universal health care because of all the aid America gives it. Nobody ever brings that up. It's never a problem. So it's all about malice, evil, and anti-black hatred. So anyway, remember what we talked about? Peace.